everybody. Okay, so this is a little bit of a bigger project tonight, so hopefully you'll be able to see it fine on the screen. I've got my 12 by 18 board, and this actually has, it's a Sylvie board, just one of the styles that they have that come in different sizes. It's got one hook here, in case you want to hang it up that way, and two here. I'm actually going to be hanging it this way. So I'm just going to remember that when I put my transfer on, because a lot of times what I will do is I will forget about the hangers in the back and do my transfer, and then all of a sudden it turns out that this is how the image looks and the hangers in the bottom, and I'm in trouble at that point. But it's chalk, so you know, you can wipe it off, clean it, do it again. Not a huge deal, but I just always have to tell myself, and then of course I forget. So the transfer I'm going to do is called My Roost My Rules. So the actual name is My Roost My Rules. Pretty easy. So it's good for kitchen. My sister does a lot of chicken stuff in her kitchen, so we'll see if she likes this or not. Right, and my hangers here, so I want to make sure I go like this. And yell at me if you see me switching things around and forget about my hanger on the back. Feel free to yell at me all you need to. Okay. So, hopefully you can see this on the screen. I'll try to put all my stuff back here out of the way. The color I'm going to use, I was debating a little bit, but this is a new color. It's called Dusky Blue. So you've got the Dusky Blue, and then for anybody who's familiar with Ocean Mist, you can kind of see the difference. That Ocean Mist is like that really baby blue, and this is kind of like a sky blue, so a little bit deeper, not too deep. But I'm going to do it on this to see how it turns out. I have not used it yet, so this is going to be the first time I'm opening it. I was debating a little bit on doing like a little cloud. So when you do usually the blue and the white and you mix them around together, usually when you peel it off, it kind of looks like a little cloud effect. So I was kind of trying to think if I wanted to do the My Roost My Rules in the cloud, and then the chicken, or rooster, whatever, the rooster, it's a rooster, in white. So I was trying to decide, but I hadn't. So if you have an opinion on it, feel free to voice your opinion. Okay. Alright, so I'm doing it sideways when I do it, just because it's going to be easier for me to reach. I'll have to like reach way to the top of the board. So I'm just going to take out my transfer and see how this turns out. I've not used this transfer before. I haven't used this chalk paste before. It's a brand new board. Although if I had used it before and cleaned it, you wouldn't be able to tell. So I have a whole bunch of these boards. They had a really good deal at Black Friday sales for chalk. So I got a bunch of stuff. Hello, Lucy. All right. So this is, I always label the back because I do lots of them. My Roost My Rules. And so before I put it on the board, I've got to fuzz up my transfer, which is just basically picking up lint. Oh, this has got nice glitter on it for my table. Yay! Glitter, glitter, glitter. All right, so like a sticker, you just want to like get the little end to pop up and try to peel it off without folding it over on itself. So if you see this design and you like it, just let me know. This is one of those dish mats. Really anything to do, towel. I'm just fuzzing it up to stick it on the chalkboard. If I was doing it with ink on something else, I would not be fuzzing it. Got my hanger here at the top. Consciously remind myself of that. These little wooden, little cardboard on the corners to protect it, I'll end up taking those off. But you know, if it's too sticky, if you go like this and you can't pull it across the board, it's too sticky and you want to do it again. Now, you see this fits perfectly. So I'm actually going to do a little trick because it fits so perfectly. It's not going to be the easiest thing to get up. If you have fingernails, it's fine. But even for me, it's so tight to the edge. I'm going to put a little stir stick down in the corner to make it easy for me to lift it up afterwards. So I'm just taking a little stir stick, which you can really use anything, and just putting it under the corner. So hopefully you can see that. So that once I get everything designed, I go to pull the transfer off, I can easily grip the corner to get it started. That's the whole goal of that. But I am going to use my huge angled squeegee. If anybody has not heard me rant and rave about that the past week, best squeegee there is, seriously. Love it. Love it. I cannot believe I have not used this before. It's been sitting here for like months. Oh, God. Okay. Love it. All right. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to do the rooster in white. And I'm going to do the My Roost My Rules in the blue and white to kind of give it like a little bit of a cloud effect. And we'll see how it turns out. I'm going to make sure that I've got all any air bubbles in there. If you have an air bubble that you see, if you're doing these, just pull it up, put it back down, you're fine. I'm going to do a pull and peel, so I'm going to start here, and I'm going to pull it up. So I'll probably do about in thirds, just because I'm mixing colors. If I wasn't mixing colors and using my big angled squeegee, I'd just be going burr, 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 done. Because if you can do it that quickly with the angled squeegee, it's awesome. You'll see when I do the rooster. Okay, so I'm going to open this. I have not opened this one yet. It's the first time you open a jar. Again, a jar is about 15 paste packets. You'll get the little seal that you'll pull up. Now, this is not a seal that goes back on. There's the ones that are sealed for your protection that help do it, but that's because they did different lids at different times. You can see this is different than the normal lid that usually doesn't have anything in there. So I'm going to grab another stir stick just because this, you know, in transit got moved around. So I just want to get it off the edges. And I'm going to use the stir stick to put blue clumps down on for when I go to mix the colors. So I've got my blue there. And then let me go ahead and get the white open. The white I've used a lot. It does have the seal for your protection because it's the older lid. So the older lids are just black on the inside. They don't have the little cushion thing in there like this brand new lid does. I mean, you can take a little piece of glue and just stick it to the top. I just haven't bothered with it. I just do that each time. Then I know I'm getting a good seal on it. So I'm going to go ahead and you can see how nice and creamy my white is. You know, my stir stick in there because I'm going to be mixing them around. The only thing about mixing the colors around is that once I mix them, I'm going to try to be careful of how much I put on here because once I mix them, I can't put them back in a jar. I can put them in a little airtight one, like I have my ink and stuff in, which you guys can see. I don't know if I have an extra one here. Let me reach back here and grab. Yeah. So like a little, almost like a little makeup paint. So if you've ever get those little paint by numbers and you got the little plastic cups that have a little bit in them, basically those you can store it in. Depends on how much extra you make. So just kind of like be conscious of that if you're mixing colors around, especially if you've got paste packets, because those you might want to be able to put into some kind of a jar afterwards, so that you don't waste it, because a little bit of chalk paste goes a long way. So, hey guys, I see you out there. Well, I don't see you, but, you know, I can see. And yeah, I'm going to pop this up a little bit because it is cutting my head off a little bit. All right, see if that's a little bit better. All right, so I'm going to do the blue and white, the blue and white, the white. The blue is going to overpower the white, so I'm going to put a little bit of blue on first in different spots. Again, I'm going to mix them together with the white to give a little bit of a cloud effect. I might have put a little bit too much blue on there. We'll see. We'll see. Because anything I mix up here, I'm just going to plop down there afterwards. Alright, so I get my little white here. And honestly, you could stick your finger in the jar and just do it that way too. Completely up to you and how you want to do it. Put plenty of white on. I'm being a little more generous with the paste up here just because I know that any excess I'm just going to use on the bottom part. Alright, so I've got my little jars. And now I'm going to start mixing them around. So I've got my squeegee to pull everything off, but I'm actually going to use the mini squeegee to kind of like mix it together. It's either that or my finger. I usually do tend to like to use the squeegee a little bit. So you can see I'm just swirling them back and forth to get the colors mixed together. And then I'm going to try to fill in all the different areas afterwards. And if I see an area that looks a little too blue, I'll add some white. If I see an area that looks too white, I'll add a little bit of blue. So you can see I'm just mixing it back and forth till the surface area is covered as much as possible. And it looks like I got a little more here towards the end compared to that. So I've got on my all area because you can no longer read what's underneath there. And I've got some on here. But I'm going to take my angled squeegee and pick up all the excess stuff. Okay, and I'm just going to set this there because it's going to go down there anyways, right? So I'm just taking this angled squeegee at the angle that it's at and just smoothing it all the way across. Picking up all the excess stuff. And it looks a little bit like cloudy and camouflage. So you can see all the excess that I'm picking up. It's a lot. But I'm just going to reuse it down at the bottom. And then I should put it on a tray. Where's my tray? Yes, I have not yet cleaned the craft room. Obviously, you can see that. I've not yet cleaned the craft room. Hold on a second. I'm going to grab my little tray over here. I have a whole little bit. Right. I'm just using the tray to catch up the excess just because I have a lot of it, so you'll see. So I just picked up all of this. I'm just scraping all the excess. So now that I scrape it off, you can read what's underneath it. Okay. Right, so now that I've got this, I'm going to go ahead and pull up this 1/3 of the part that I've done. So I've got my little thing here to help me. I'm going to try to go across the edge to get a good grip because you want to not do it so much from one corner, but pretty evenly if you can. So I'm going to go ahead and start to pull it up. I'm just going to pull it up for the part that I've done so far. So hopefully, I like how that looks. What do you guys think? Honestly, it looks a little more camouflagey than cloudy. I like it though. Right, so I'm just going to set this right back down. So it's just so that the paste doesn't start drying in there while I finish this because it's a larger surface. I'm going to go ahead and scrape the rest of this off on here. So I'm going to use this on the bottom part because there's lots of it. But I am still going to put some fresh blue and white down on it. So, but the next thing I'm going to do is white for the rooster. That'll go on really quick. So I'll use the mini just so you guys can see how long it can kind of take with the mini. Just like how much easier that big angled squeegee made it. Right, so I'm just going to scoop directly from the jar, stuff on the rooster, and I like to put a clump down and scoop it as I go, and then just put the big excess that I scrape off onto the next section. So I get his little feet in there. It's a little bit more white here. Making sure I hit all the different parts of the rooster. Okay, and because it's just white, nothing with the colors, I'll put the excess white right back in the jar. And then I'm just going to scrape over it just to make sure I got it all good, and then I'm going to pull it up so that the rooster doesn't dry in the silk screen. Right, so here we go. Pulling this back up off the roost. And slowly doing a chicken, or rooster, I wanted to call it chicken. Right. So now I've got it 2/3 done. And I'm gonna, if I had I have a drying tool, but you could dry it. I'm not super worried about it. I'm just gonna lay it back down. Nice and gently. I'm not pushing it back down or anything. I'm actually gonna, because I'm right-handed, spin this around so I can do the My Rules. And I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to put blue down and then white. But I do have this to kind of help mix in. So I don't want to hit too much with the dark blue, because I got a whole bunch of light blue to work in there as well. So I just put like this before. Obviously, wherever I go on this, it's going to be dark. There we go. All right, so I should be done with that color. Now I'm going to take out a bit of white, just so I can try to have some spots that are a little more pure white, especially with the my part there. And oops, got a little blue on that. All right, so I don't want to stick that back in there now that I got blue mixed with my white on my stir stick. All right, so we'll take this a little bit from the edge. All right, so I know I'm going to have extra left over. I can already tell. But I'm going to take some of this stuff that's already mixed together and just plop it on so I get nice extra stuff. I got it. Might as well use it. Okay. And I know I'm still going to have extra, so maybe I'll do a smaller one in like a light blue color, just so I don't waste it all. All right. Again, I'm going with my little squeegee to blend them together. Just how I prefer. You can easily do your fingers, just like your finger painting. I'm just covering up all the words so you can't see them anymore. And then I'm going to scrape off all the excess. I'm trying to make sure I hit all the areas nice and good. And I believe I got it. Sometimes, oh, I got a little bit of the letter down there. So sometimes it's the very corners. All right, so got a little bit from the squeegee here off. Now I'm going to take my big angled one and just scrape it off. Just making sure I hit the top of that R. I'm going to have a ton of paste left over. I just want to get the edge with the small one just because it's, that angled squeegee is really big for the edge. Just hitting the edges. Making sure I got all the letters, all the my at the top. All right, ready to pull it up. So I'm ready to pull the whole thing up, nice and easy. Nice, and I'm gonna check out the My Rules at the bottom as I pull it up. I like it. Hopefully my sister likes it. We'll see if she likes it. If not, somebody else will. All right, I did get a little chalk paste on the edge, a little drop here, a little drop there. I'm just gonna go ahead and clean that up real quick. I just take my little wipe, and you can wait till it dries to take it off. I usually just do it while it's wet if I can, without touching your actual image. Right. Just need to make sure that I hit this nice and easy. So you'll see some dark spots, but as soon as those dry, as soon as the water dries, it'll let right up. So, what do you guys think? Love it. Came out so much better than I was thinking it was going to come out. So if I hadn't used the new Dusty blue that gives you that extra dark blue, it would have been just the two lighter shades of blue that would have looked a little bit more like clouds. But I like that it looks a little bit more like camouflage. So I'm going to hold it up a little bit closer for you guys. So hopefully you can see better. Hi, Eleanor. So hopefully you can see a little bit better. I know it's a little bit hard to see the blue and the white that comes out a little bit of a camo. So we've got that. And since I have extra paste, I'm going to grab something else to do. Because I don't want to, so I've got like a big clump here. I don't want to waste it. And I like the color. So before I clean up my stuff, I'll grab a little something extra to do. So let's see. I have so many different new ones now. It's kind of silly. But if anybody has any requests, you can tell me. There's a lot more little snarky sayings. And I did this one the other day, the Earth Laughs and Flowers. Now that this side is dry, I can do this side, so I actually get 2 different sayings on it. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put my little My Roost My Rules back here. And hopefully Lucy doesn't come in here and touch it. Up against it. That within 30 minutes, that'll be dry enough to the touch. And really, it doesn't, like, you can hit it with a little bit of water and just dab the water off. It's not going to take the chalk taste off. Maybe if you left it out in the rain or really super misty or something, probably, but. Thanks! Hopefully my sister likes it. The little My Roost My Rules. We'll see. We'll see. I thought of her when I got it. So I think I'm going to do the Alexa Fold the Laundry. I'm waiting for them to come out with an Alexa robot so that Alexa will start doing the dishes and the laundry and all of that stuff. Probably too much to hope for, but I'm still hoping for it. Right, so I'm going to put this down. Again, this has a little thing that it sits in. Then I get 2 different signs. And I will fuzz this up. Oh, this is, remember to laundry. So, so since I have so much extra paste on there, I'm going to do this, and this will come out in the lighter blue. And just pick this up. I don't want it to be too sticky. I haven't used this one yet before. It's brand new. And I do put it a little towards the top and go work my way down, so a little bit gap down here because these have the bases. And as you can see, the base puts it up a little bit. So when I sit it in, I want the words to be a little bit higher. Up to you, but you can always test it by going like that to see exactly where it's going to go when you take it off the stand. All right, so I'm just going to use this and dive right in. I've already got my squeegees and stuff out, so let's see how Alexa does. So I'm not sure if people liked last night when I did the different kind of angle. So you could see this really close up as I was doing it. I'm not sure if people find that more beneficial or not. So let me know what you think. Alright, so let's take this up and see how it looks. Right, very laundry room. It's a very laundry room kind of blue. And I do have some that are actual borders too, but I like this because I can actually I have a little hole punch that will go through this. And so I can put little holes on here and a string so I can hang it up actually right above my washer and dryer, which is I think what I'm going to do. And it'll stand out in my laundry room. And the nice thing about these is these ones you can just put right in here and just set them in here to dry. So it can stand up to dry. And I'm not sure if you guys can see that from there. Yeah, you can. Alright, so I just have to clean up my surfaces. I still have some blue left. I'm not going to worry about too much. Again, this was the Dusty blue, which is one of the new colors. So now I just need to clean up my mess. Anybody has, so I'm doing a live every night all month. So if there's something that you specifically want to see, I actually could do another one on here. I'm going to do another one. I don't want to waste my paste. Really don't want to waste my paste. So again, I like the snarky sayings. So there's like, I came, I saw, I forgot what I was doing. You know how you go to do something and you walk in a room and you forget why you walked in, so you got to walk out and walk back in. Yeah. Why do they want dinner every night? In case of emergency, don't drop the F-bomb. And then there's, I'm outdoorsy, I like to drink on patios. There's also the, I can't say I love you enough. So this is your reminder. So you see, some of them are really detailed, some of them are not. But I'm going to do the little outdoorsy one. I'm not going to waste my face. So I'm on my third project and it's only been like 20 minutes. Interesting. So you can see how easy it is for me, like when I sit down and start doing them, especially if I'm like mixing colors and have a whole bunch of stuff set out. That's why it's important that I label the back of them, because when I go to clean them up, I'll have multiple transfers to clean up, and then it's remembering which backer they go on. The sizes are pretty easy, but it's just a little bit, it actually does make it easier. I wasn't doing that at first. And I learned that, yeah, it really is beneficial. So people are telling you to do that for a reason. So this one is going to be a little big for the surface I'm putting it on. But I could easily afterwards update it with some of these flowers along the edge. This is very outdoorsy. I think it goes pretty well with the drink. So we'll see how that looks. Because you can easily mix and match the transfers. So I think I'll put it towards the top. Smooth it down. I should have waxed this. Didn't really think about it till after, because it is like a cheap mock chalkboard from Dollar Tree. So I'm gonna have to be extra careful when I pull this up to pull it nice and slow, or it could curl my transfer, just because it's just a cheap board. All right, let's see how this looks in blue. I'm gonna put a whole bunch on. I just want to use it up. And the nice thing about chalk is if I hate it how it turns out, like if my camouflage, my blue and clouds didn't turn out what I wanted, I can just wipe it off and do it again. Be like, nope, don't like it. Even if you're doing it on wood, what you can actually very easily do is sand off the chalk and the wood, and you can even repaint it and stuff depending on how you're doing that. All right, so I should be able to fill it up. I'm going on thick on everything with the chalk paste. Nice and thick. All right, I'm still using my tray. I'm just going to scrape off all the excess. Put it on the tray. Once I put it on really nice and thick. Honestly, I could probably do a good another 2 transfers. But, let's see. All the extra. All right, I'm going to be really careful because I didn't think and didn't wax the board. I'm going to go nice and slow and actually wiggling it a little bit, just so I don't want it to curl over on itself. So not too bad. I mean, it didn't really curl my transfer very much, which is good since I mistakenly did not wax it. And then it's a cute little outdoorsy. So I was going to put this one on my mom's front door. So it's like the one I did the other night with the birds. It's like, no soliciting unless you're selling cookies. Like a little home sweet home. So then I've got this. So very easily put it on her front door, hang it up, a little hanger on it, and switch it around depending on the mood. So now, got so much stuff. Right. I think if there's any more that I want to do in here. Alright, I'm going to do one more since I have so much paste left. So there was this one. Put it to the side. This is one that I did a little while ago. This is the 5x7 board and base. So this is this crazy little son of a beach one that I did in like a little bit of a magenta peach. And then I actually took my purple glitter and painted the wood base. So the wood base is normally like this. And I just watered down the chalk paste and painted it to give it a little bit more. And I was actually going to add seashells. But this is two-sided, reusable. So I'm going to pick another 5x7. I saw, I forgot what I was doing. As soon as I saw this one, I really wanted it because I forget what I'm doing sometimes. Especially like if I've got like 5 things in my head and I go into one room and it was like, why did I walk into this room? Why? And I can't remember. I do the same thing at work sometimes. It's like, why did I walk in here? Then you have to go walk around, walk back into the living room, wherever you were, sit down, and eventually it will come to me. Sometimes it takes a little while. Sometimes as soon as I turn around and start to walk away, I remember. So this is nice and sticky. And again, I'm gliding it over to make sure. But, okay, so I've got one on the other side. I do it to the top because of that base again. And I still have a ton of chalk paste left, so this might be the very last one. We'll see. And I'm going to do it like in rows. So I'm covering up the words. Hopefully you can see that. And then I'm going to scrape off the excess and just put it on the next row. And since this is only 5 by 7, I'm not going to worry about pull and peel on it. I still have a ton left. Right. Okay, this will be my last one. Right. I'm taking out my fingers, but I'm not too worried about when I get chalk on my fingers. It's when you get ink on your fingers, you definitely want to try to get it off because ink is the more permanent version. Pull it up. I've got lots of things to clean tonight. So, I've got my one side that I had done, that crazy little son of a beach. And then now I came, I saw, I forgot what I was doing. And I could put it on the purple side, or the other. I'll go with the purple side, or not. It sits in there nice and firmly, so it's not like it's going to tip over and fall. And the reason I put that up is because, see, it goes into the base. So it sits down a little bit. That's why I start the transfer from the top down. See, and the other one is pretty close on that side, but got a couple little signs done. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the other one's up there. All right, I'm going to sign off for tonight and clean up my huge mess because I used so much paste. I had tons of extra. But if anybody has any questions, let me know. I'll go ahead and put a link up for the big one that I did, which was the My Roost My Rules. And honestly, the only reason I did the other ones is because I had all the chalk paste out, so I might as well make use of it. I don't want to like waste it and throw it away. But this one is. So if my sister watches this video, which she may not, I'm going to post a picture and I will tag her in it and see if she likes it. I couldn't remember the color of her kitchen, but I think this will work. Right? I'm signing off. Night, guys.